y'all, Sia, and I'm back with another video, y'all. Let me tell you, it has been a minute, man. I have not meant. I'm every time I talk to y'all, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel professionally. I'm gonna get me some thumbnails. I just don't have the time, but I'm learning to outsource certain things to certain people. So hopefully I'll be able to really get this up and running the way that I want to, provided that I can buy the time to be able to do it, right? For those of you guys who don't know, like I have, I'm pretty familiar with how to market online, or market myself online if I really wanted to. But I've been struggling with kind of where I want to take this channel, and or debating if I want to create another channel, right? And where my time is most needed. Like where is the best, where am I getting the best, the best value for my time when it comes to social media and advertising and growing a business or whatever it is that I'm striving to do, right? So those of you guys who don't know, I do have a business, right? I do bookkeeping, I do payroll, I do taxes, and then I'm also a notary public as well, right? So I do have my own thing kind of outside of YouTube. And my life has pretty much changed. It's changed kind of overnight, but it changed. And so where my energy goes is kind of my focus. So I do apologize, you guys, about not like staying consistent with YouTube. And honestly, I'm working on that all across the board because I get so caught up in my everyday life that I kind of forget to um be consistent to grow the things that I'm striving to grow and the things that I'm striving to do, right? So definitely want to acknowledge that. I hear y'all, right? But hopefully at some point, like I don't know when, but hopefully at some point I can begin to really invest in this channel in the way that I want to, right? But I wanted to check in with you guys because it's been a hot minute. Like I said, it's been a while. There's so many things happening in my life, in the world right now, as you guys can see. So I just want to be able to tune in, kind of check in with you guys. I'm okay. Life's good. But also give you guys like just some reflection thoughts because y'all know just a month ago or whenever I was talking about, or it wasn't a month ago, but it was a few months ago when I was talking about how I lost my job and kind of figuring out what route I want to go, what direction I wanted to go in. um and I was a little nervous because obviously y'all know I just bought a house. I bought a house. I closed New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, one of the two. I can't quite remember, but it was one of the two. Shout out to the Golesh team. They really helped me out, really worked hard on the New Year's to ensure that I could close on New Year's, which was cool because I had put a lot of my income into buying the house, right? There's a lot that goes into buying a house. So, a lot of my income that I was bringing in at the time, I was pushing out to, buying the house, whether it be the appraisal that I had to pay for, whether it be I think I had an inspection that I had to pay for. I had to pay for like 2 months of HOA ahead of time. I had to pay for the HOA documents. Like, that shit costs money, low key, right? So every check that I was getting, for the most part, I was paying my bills, but I was also pushing out a lot of the income towards buying a home. I will say that I ended up putting money down only for the realtor or the lender. I think it's the loan officer or whoever the person is that helps you get the loan, right? that was the person who fought for me to get all my money back. But that's kind of the market that we're in. It is a buyer's market. So there was a lot that I was able to negotiate. And I ended up getting a lot of that money back. So I ended up paying $0 down, even though I ushered out, I think it was like 3%, right? Is what they were asking me for. Um, it was an interesting experience, very nerve-wracking, okay, the entire time. But I'm glad that I did it because having my own place, y'all, and I mean my own, like not my own place, like I'm renting, but owning a home has my life has it's like less stressful. I know that sounds crazy, but it is. Even though I have a monthly mortgage, I have a HOA that I have to pay. Yes, you've got to pay it, but it's like I don't know if it's the time of then you have to pay it. Like I still haven't figured out why. I would much rather pay on a mortgage and struggle paying a mortgage than be paying a rent and struggling paying rent. Okay. That's just me, right? That's just my experience. And you guys know I lost my job the end of January. So I'm stressing, thinking I'm gonna need some unemployment. Y'all, I gave up on the unemployment. I didn't even get as far as them even being able to tell the employer that I had even applied for unemployment. Primarily because unemployment, I don't like doing things online and not be able to contact somebody to make sure I'm doing it right. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, okay, I gotta go down to the workforce center, which I learned through my works for unemployment. So I had to go to kind of figure it out through her, like, okay, why hasn't moved? My application is submitted. What is going on? They asked for documents. I sent them documents, but it's been like 3 months. Like, what's going on? At some point, like when you start doing for self, it's almost like I could have probably collected on that money because my boyfriend was like, why don't you collect on that money? Like, you need to go down there, figure out what's going on. But I'm thinking, I'm technically bringing in the income. And I know some Americans, right, that it may be me back in the day. I probably wouldn't have been so honest about my situation. I probably would have still tried to collect, right? But I'm just in a space right now where it's very difficult for me to have to go and depend and follow somebody else's like rules. And it's too much. Like it should, for me, things, how I see life is things should come easy. And I know people are like, not now, nothing comes easy. But yeah, it kind of does. Like a lot of people don't realize when you're in the state of flow and when you're where you should be and doing the things that you should be doing, things do come easy. It may not be easy for the next person because maybe that's not their thing. That's not where God ordained them to be. But when you're in the space of flow, like low key, everything comes easy. It comes easier than what you thought it should have came. So this was a dynamic where I'm like, this is way too complicated. Like I just feel like they done put so much red tape on so many different things, which I understand there are people that take advantage of situations or whatever. But if I can't get a hold of you, I'm calling you at 7 a.m. I'm trying to figure out maybe noon is a good time, and I still can't even get to where the phone is going to ring to you. I'm not about to like y'all. That's doing to. I'm sorry. To me, it was more stressful trying to apply than just say, you know what, F this, screw this. It's too much. So on top of that, y'all know it's been tax season, right? So business for me, it's very interesting because this year my business kind of went differently. Usually business doesn't hit for me until at the end of the year. Okay. Not the beginning, because there was a time period where all of my clients, and obviously I've been picking up as much as I can while working full time too, right? So a lot of my clients were needing extensions to be filed in order for their tax return to be processed. So I wasn't doing taxes until the end of the year, which is a very difficult time because it coincides with marketing, right? If you're striving to market your business, but that's my busiest time of the year because everybody needs an extension. They want to wait to the end of the year to do their taxes, right? Um, I've had situations where, like I said, all my money comes in at the end of the year. I may get clients at the end of the year, but they don't start the work until the middle of the year or whatever. And so now I'm struggling to catch up because I've got to keep up with the next year's tax returns, in addition to going to school, in addition to working full time for somebody else. So this year, all of my clients, for some reason, were like, yo, this is a better year. I want all my stuff done right away. And so I was pretty much able to make everything that I made last year, this year. I've already made that. Right. So that was pretty cool to see. And to see that, yeah, I left this job and yeah, I left in a way that I really didn't quite understand. I still don't understand, but it is what it is. It's almost like God was kind of telling me that that was supposed to happen because I do have my own business, right? It's like I'm working for y'all. I don't really like how things are ran. Nobody's giving me the opportunity, but the fact that I'm able to climb. See, this is, I don't know why people underestimate me, because I would think that I'm a freaking case study, right? To see a person go from the bottom to where she is so quickly and nobody's able to connect the dots. Like folks are looking at me like, how did you do it? And I'm like, well, how did you not expect me to do it? Like, so it's kind of one of those situations where I learned that yes, I may rub people. I'm not here to be liked by everybody. And I just didn't understand this liking principle where everybody's trying to be liked by everybody, right? I recognize that I am who I am and I'm going to be who I am. And if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you, right? I've grown in ways where I could see other perspectives. I've always been able to see other perspectives, even when it comes to me, right? And I'm able to, acknowledge it and look at it for what it is and take what I feel like I should gain from it. But the reality of it is, I feel like when you set a precedence for your life and you say that you're going to do something and you make up your mind to do it, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is going to find a way to make it happen regardless. And anything that comes in the way of you being able to achieve what it is that you said you were going to do and decided you were going to do it has to go. And it's going to go no matter how how much you like it, don't like it, how bad it feels, how good it feels, it don't freaking matter. It's going to go. So these last few months have really been eye-opening for me as a business owner, because what it says is I low key, I can do this. I can really do this. Like, it ain't no longer a side hustle. This ain't just like, I'm really bringing in some money, and that part feels good. Not only am I bringing in money, but I'm able to sustain myself, right? And that part feels good. So that's what I've been learning the last few months, is just realizing and recognizing again my own strength, my own power, my own ability to do what it is that I said I was going to do. And I remember when I first got fired, right? I remember I was like, man, I got to hustle. I'm going to try to do everything that I was doing pre-COVID. Man, I'm telling you now, y'all, pre-COVID, the way things don't even run the same anymore. I even thought about restarting up a cleaning business. And that's because I had one before. Again, I was young and not understanding how far it could take me, dealing with relationships, not understanding my worth and my value. I was inconsistent with, how can I say this? I didn't take it far. I started it, I got it off the ground, I was making money, but because I couldn't see the money right away, I gave up on it, right? I was dealing with different things, just not really focused. Just I don't think cleaning was what I wanted to do. I'm a business owner. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I feel like I'm a serial entrepreneur. But it just wasn't my thing really, but I was making good money from it quickly. Tried to get back into that, and I had to tell myself, because people were calling me for cleaning, but I'm thinking they calling me for I don't know. It was I was like, okay, you gotta pick one, right? If you want one thing to flourish, you gotta pick one. I don't think that God allowed me to lose my position for me to clean. Like I don't think that that's what the goal was, right? That wasn't the goal. Now, if it's extra income on the side for me to be able to continue living the life that I've been living, then that's different. But to make it like my business, not right now. Like I need to get focused on one thing. So that's kind of something I learned over the last 3 months, 4 months. It's been five, I guess. We're in May now. So that's been pretty cool. Like just cool to see it. Um, I am looking into a part-time position. Like I never thought I'd say that in my life. I've never worked a part-time job in my life, but I feel like I do like my freedom to be able to do what I want to do. If I wanted to be able, um, I think about going in back into the workforce full time, even just until tax season, because I mean, I guess why not? It doesn't help. It does help, and my income would significantly increase. And so that's the part I've been debating about, but I love having my time. I love having my freedom. I love having slow mornings. I don't gotta want, like, I just wake up and everything around me is nice. I'm just happy. Like, I don't know. I just like my life right now. So I've been really debating on either going to do a part-time job, um or maybe even just doing some Uber or something, right? Because I'm looking at trading my car in at some point anyway. So doing something that allows me to maintain the flexibility that I have to continue to grow my business. So that's kind of where I've been at, y'all. I that's primarily been my focus. It's just, what can I do to ensure that I can buy me more time to do whatever the hell I want to do. Period. Um, with that said, I wanted to really talk about another aspect of my life. And it's very interesting because I have family and friends that have really like gave me my props, and when it comes to dating and relationships and stuff like that. So I don't want to sit here and act like I know a whole lot, right? But I feel like I've been pretty clear and pretty adamant about how people I don't know how I feel like relationships should kind of go. Okay. So those of y'all know I've been in a relationship. I've been in a relationship no matter how frustrated I've been in this relationship. I've been in this relationship for almost a year. Um, am I majority of the time pretty happy? Yes. I'm very spoiled in my relationship. I don't have to want for anything in terms of what this man will or will not do for me. That part, I just don't have that. um have we struggled in terms of compatibility, in terms of two people coming together, right? And two people from their own different realities coming together to try to make it work with one another? Yes. Okay. I've dealt with some crazy, what I felt like is some crazy ish, but I've also feel like I've dealt with less than in other areas than I've dealt with in other relationships. Okay. Um, I will say this. There have been times where I felt like walking away. And normally when you've been in a relationship, they say for a year, when you've been in there, when you get to that 7 to 8 month mark, that's kind of when you struggle in a relationship a little bit, because that's when you're really figuring out, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? Okay. So it was expected that we would have certain levels of struggle, okay, certain levels of trouble in our relationship. Uh, I will say this. This is the first relationship where I felt like walking away. I have walked away, or at least I felt like I walked away, but in my heart refused to give up on. And I had a friend ask me, tell me, just walk away. The old you will walk away, self respect and da da da. I'm going to tell y'all now, nobody is perfect. And in this world, you do have to figure out who is worth fighting for, right? And when I decide who is worth fighting for, is not based upon anything outside of your morals. Does your looks, yeah, your looks matter. Um, but not so much more than your morals. And one of the rarest qualities a person can have is the ability to truly apologize. Okay. I will say this, it's a very rare quality. There's a lot of people who don't understand what apologies mean, how to apologize, and what you should do to show people that you meant it. Okay? One of the things that I struggle with friendships, relationships, family, it don't matter, is the fact that they don't acknowledge the pain that I'm going through, that they have put me through. That's probably one of my biggest struggles. Okay. And I'm saying this because, hang on, y'all. I'm saying this because it is. So when I find someone who is willing to not necessarily say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, but to actually change the behavior because they want me to be happy, because they recognize that if I'm happy, then I can make them happy. See what I'm saying? That's somebody worth keeping. Not only is this person willing to acknowledge when they mess up and right their wrongs. And I'm not talking about, okay, so they did wrong, now they buying me some flowers. That don't fix the issue. I'm a gift girl, but I'm not really a gift girl. Like, I need you to show me that you heard me by way of action. So this man, everything that I felt like I was going through, everything that I felt like I didn't know if I really wanted to deal with further on, this man heard me and he fixed it. And he's consistent with his fixing. So I will say this. I will say that self-respect is a big deal. Like, I could, as a woman, something I've learned in this relationship, because I had to really harp on the fact that I've got to focus on me. I've got to do what feels good for me. I've got a place. I should be able to be at my place. I shouldn't have to be up underneath you 24/7. I've really had to fight for my independence and my freedom in this relationship. And I've also had to make it clear that I have no problem walking away because I can take care of myself. See, I think folks thought, I don't know, me losing my job was the end all be all, but that's how much they didn't know, about me. So this has been my experience, y'all. I've been in an interesting, that's why I couldn't be on camera too, is because I'm in the process of getting my hair did. I'm about to go somewhere. We're about to go somewhere later on, and I need to make sure that I look appropriate for the part. Um, but that's been my life, is me growing my business, figuring out what I want to do with my business, but also, building on this family. So I want to start a family. I want to, um, really be in a situation where I have my own family now, you know, and I feel like God has given me that opportunity no matter what I've had to, no matter what. So I'm very happy, y'all. Life has been good. With my daughter, it's been good. My daughter is going through her own stuff. As y'all know, she's about to become a teenager. So she's been dealing with things. She's in therapy, kind of just working out her own feelings, her own emotions, stuff like that. So that's going to be an interesting time as well, especially as she gets older. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be a lot of different things that I'm going to have to get accustomed to. But we'll see, hopefully, I hope therapy really helps her out. Um, I wanted to touch on Trump a little bit, okay, and kind of what we're seeing. I don't want to get into politics too much, because I still don't. The thing is, there's not enough information. I know people are out there, with their opinions about what they think is going to happen because of the tariffs or all this. There's not enough information to say one way or the other, right? Just like it ain't really enough to say what what direction the country is really headed in. It feels a certain way, right? And that's like taking a risk, right? If I'm taking a risk, it feels not so good. It may not feel like, it may even feel like it's going to crap a little bit, right? But sometimes the outcome can turn around in a positive way. So there's not enough to speak on the direction of which the country. I can speculate, but I feel like everybody is speculating. Nobody knows, right? Even the people that are diehard Trump fans, right, really don't know where this is going, right? They can only speculate based upon the knowledge and information that they have. And so for me, I don't really like to talk on outcomes too much, because that's not, we don't have enough information yet. What I will say is this: I did not vote in this election. I've said this time and time again. I didn't vote in this election for a reason. Okay. I've said, because I was for Trump. I voted for Trump in 2020. But again, the way he lost the election rose kind of, it made me question some things. Okay. And I just can't, I don't believe everything that I see or I hear. I like to think with my brain and really use comprehension skills, and really ask myself, how did this man, like, I'm really having a hard time, and I've always had a hard time with how he lost the election. Okay. I think for me, something just didn't feel right with that loss. Okay. Um, I can't quite put my finger on it. Okay. I can say what I feel like I've said plenty of times, which is, the man is too, for him to have all of those people supporting him. I just don't understand how he lost. Okay. And I know that things are rigged. Like, I know that there are people that come to the table and they agree to allow certain things to fall apart or come together or whatever. And my mind still just really don't understand that, and it's never been really addressed. I don't know that we ever really got answers outside of blaming the other party. And I'm not saying it's either party's fault, not fault. It's just, I don't do the blaming game either. Like, I wish they would have really got down to the bottom of that. without all the conspiracy stuff. I would like to see paperwork because it just don't sit right with me. Okay. But anywho, and I think it was, yeah, that was the election he lost. Yeah, it don't sit right with me. Or was it? Yeah, nah. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, nah. So here we are in 2020. What was it? 2024 was he elected? Time has gone by so quickly. Um, and I think a lot of people voted. Let me tell you this. This is why, because I don't do things that everybody else does, right? They talk about people who follow the crowd versus the person who doesn't. And so I have always made it a point to actually adhere to that saying, right? Because there's a reason why they say this, right? I really feel like a lot of people saw the life that people were living during COVID, right? Because again, there was that tale of the two cities, right? You had the tale of the two cities, people who were doing good and people who were doing bad. All you saw in the news was people who were doing bad, but in real life, there was a lot of us with people who were low key coming up. It was like a wealth transfer that genuinely happened. Okay. And I think that for those latecomers, and I say the late bloomers, the ones that was calling us coons in 2020, the ones that was disrespecting us for voting for Trump in 2020, it was them people who said, you know what, Trump's running again, we gonna stand behind him, because in their minds, if they voted for Trump, they would now have the same kind of success, right? Or not better. I really believe people contribute the wealth transfer that happened in 2020, right? That's still happening, by the way, with Trump. And because people were late to the knowledge that other people had, because there was a certain level of knowledge that was being had and being passed around. And if you knew, you knew. Like I said, it was 2020 vision. You knew what time it was. So those of us who understood what time it was, we got on code. We understood the assignment in 2020. But there was a lot of people who did not. And my gut tells me there was a lot of people who saw the transfer. They saw it. They may not call it a transfer, but they saw how folks was out here getting money, still living their lives. Meanwhile, other folks is trying to keep the rent and can't afford to pay the rent, and living off of government assistance and all this jazz, right? Because there was a complete contrast. Those are the people who were late to the party in 2020. And it wasn't because of Trump. It just so happened that the people who was out here doing what they should have been doing, they were going to vote for Trump because Trump was the only one talking that talk. It wasn't like if you know, okay, things is going in lockdown, I need to maintain a job, I don't necessarily want to go get these vaccines. There were certain things that people had to do to ensure that they could be able to survive in those times. Whether that be change your career, whether that be gain a skill set, because we kept saying these are the things you should be doing. Okay, yeah, you can't afford to pay rent right now, but the government was handing out money like it was candy. So if you do these things, you will be fine, right? So the people who didn't take advantage of it, that's on them. But those are the same people who then turn around and vote for Trump this election. And unfortunately, that group consists of quite a few types of different people, right? You've got your, and let me be clear, the people that Trump was speaking to it's always been a certain demographic of people in terms of what Black folks would deem as racist people, right? It's always been, or prejudiced people, right? It's always been his talk has always been his base has always been a certain kind of person. Don't get it twisted. That ain't nothing new. But on top of that certain kind of person, He's bringing in, he brought in a whole different kind of person as it pertains to the manosphere, right? You have the manosphere, the red pill ideology type men, the Kevin Samuels followers, right? Who in mass voted for Trump. Ask me what their income looked like. Okay, so I just want to be clear. It's a certain demographic that voted for Trump. And I really genuinely believe it's not a certain, it's a few demographics that voted for Trump. But a lot of these people, when how I'm seeing it, just in my thoughts and in my mind, they ain't necessarily well-to-do off people. Some of them are, right? I'm not talking about his initial base. Some of them are, like some of these white people got money, obviously. But I'm talking about the people who really helped push it, the large amount of black men, young white males, right? All these people that didn't vote for this man before. Now, all of a sudden, black women, it's a certain kind of black woman that voted for them too. I'm just saying, the ideology. This is how you have a VP like JD Vance that can get on national television talking about women ain't contributing to their country if they don't have one child. Like, okay, well, how, like, where does a man, like, how y'all, like, this is why the thoughts of A Handmaid's Tale, like the conversations, those kinds of, the Gilead conversation, that shit's been happening. So for me, it's all the latecomers, the late bloomers, okay, outside of his initial base, okay? And I'm talking about even if you want to include the people that voted for him in 2020 as his base, but he has a specific base. We all know who they are. But the newcomers, everybody was on this Trump bandwagon. Where the hell were they in 2020? So they're newcomers. These people are acting like this news, the news had been happening, the things that they be talking about, the conspiracies that are just now being talked about. I'm like, we was learning about this 10 years ago. Where were you? It's like a new, now that Trump's in office, like everybody seen the light again. Like folks is coming out. Did you know? Like, yeah, we knew about a lot of this shit years ago. So it's interesting how things are taking form, right? You got a lot of people are pretty late to the party. And they swear they on time. Okay. And for me, I just can't rock with that. I can't. Okay. Now you got, not only were they late to the party, but now you got a whole bunch of folks regretting their decision. Okay. Right? You, on one hand, as a black woman, I can genuinely say that I've seen racism increase. Racism has, white people think they bold, boy. It ain't just them. It's a lot of different people. But at the same time, it's a lot of people who are regretting their decision because they forgot that the policies that they were in such support of, because they thought that it applied to people who look like me, actually it pertained to them. DEI, right? I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of situations right now that are happening that are affecting other people, not necessarily black people are been impacted, but we've been impacted by all the laws for the most part. It's like, no offense, I see us as, we've got to do what it takes to make sure we're good. Again, I didn't go into this workforce. Is it rightfully so that you fire me because I'm using you? Probably, right? I'm sure white people talk, right? I'm sure ain't no telling what's been said, but that ain't gonna stop my show and what God got going on for me. And I think that's where black people have to really get to a point where we start building our own. Fuck these, like, fuck what y'all talking about. We in a time right now where so many people are saying black people about to come up, black people about to come up. That's because our backs are being put against the wall in this type of time. And I don't know that it's the president as much as it's all the people that support this. How can I say it? They support this system You know, it's a lot of people that support the system. And I don't think people even know they support it, but they do. Blacks, whites, Mexican, it don't matter. There's a lot of people that support the current system that we are in. They say they want to change it when it impacts them, but if they're benefiting from it, they don't give a fuck. So as a black woman, what I recommend, right, in this day and age, in this time that we live in, for black and brown people especially, right? Because white people, you already know this. I shouldn't have to include you for you to get the message. It's time to start, because even those in poverty, this is what you folks are not understanding. Things about to change. Okay, things about to change drastically. That I do know. I don't know what to tell y'all. That I do know. With the integration of AI and how big this president is, you see where Bitcoin is, cryptocurrency, we're going into a whole nother time. Like, we're about to be in a whole nother world reality that I don't know that most people are actually ready for. You've got Elon Musk on the brink of becoming a trillionaire. A trillionaire? The fact that money could even go to the trillions should say something. I don't know if y'all done seen these movies where folks is, they debts is in the trillions of millions of dollars, right? And you listen, $1 million is like pennies to the wealthy. I need y'all to start understanding what folks voted for. What did y'all vote? What y'all voted for? Now, some of what Trump's doing, like I said, I don't want to get into whether it's good or bad, because you're only gonna know once it's done, once the results are over. Folks can speculate all damn day long, but the reality of it is, there's a lot of stuff happening. That's all I can say. There's a lot happening, and this world we're going to be more futuristic than not. The idea of what you think of the future is where we're headed. It's not like we're there. Almost, right? So just be mindful of that, and be mindful that when things are taken too far, this is what I've always said, you get the power in the wrong person's hands and things can be taken too far. So I don't feel like, this is my intuition telling me that I don't feel like the integrity of Trump. I'm so solid on his integrity as a person because I don't know him, right? If I'd meet him and he showed me integrity all day, I'd have his back all day regardless. But I don't know that I've seen consistent integral acts, high morals, high valued acts from Trump. I know that Trump is the president. I know that he's doing what he feels like is right. I really hope that his decisions are not further. I understand that, okay, we got to do something. We got to cut, because a lot of people don't understand. Things should be made here in the US. We should be making things. The problem, though, is the United people in the United States, we don't have the fucking time to make shit. We got to pay bills. So, like I was saying, I was telling this to my boyfriend yesterday. I crochet. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm great at crocheting. I can crochet a blanket. I can crochet a swimsuit. Like, I can crochet whatever you want me to crochet. I'm really good at it. But I don't have the time to crochet 10 swimsuits, right? I don't have that time. I barely got the time to crochet one. So Americans, unless it's like I'm buying my time to be able to do what I want, is essentially where we're at. You have to be able to afford to have that kind of time on your hands to be able to do what you want to do. And for those who are on government assistance, like, if you have that time because the government is funding that time, you better be using that time wisely. Time is probably the most valuable thing that we all have. So this war that he's got is like it's cool, but then you've got to make things more comfortable at home so that people can afford to pay their bills, right? So that we can begin to invest our time into creativity so we can start making our own clothes right here at home. And I'm not talking about slapping a logo on some shit and calling it my clothing line. I'm talking about actual sewing. I'm talking about actually making the clothes. That takes time. So I understand what he's doing, but I also think that okay, I mean, so what? How are products going to be made in the USA? Like where are we going to get that time? Are we doing factories? Are we doing child labor? Like where are we going to start recouping that type of creativity again? Like how does that happen? Because there's a reason the United States outsources. We reach out to all these other countries to get our needs met because we don't have the time. It's not like how it used to be back in the day where one person can go to work and the mom sat home and she's sewing all day. Again, if she is doing that, you can best believe either the family, and I don't want to say it like this because they can either afford to do it or they really can't afford to do it, but they're doing it anyway. You see what I'm saying? We're in different kind of times right now. So I get what he's saying, but some part of me be like, but what's on the other side of this? Okay, we going through this. It's affecting people, their 401ks. People are frustrated, right? Prices are rising. They're definitely rising. Okay. Does this end? Where does it end? When should we expect a turnaround on our investment? That's the question folks should be asking instead of blindly following this because they feel like white is right, right? At some point, people have to understand that you part of the crew. Just because you see black people being done one way don't mean you ain't gonna be done that same way. We just are first to get it done to us. It's the experiment that they do it on, and then they do it on the rest of everybody else that ain't part of that 1%, because it's only 1%. That means not all people can go. And this is why the conversation behind race and racism, this is ridiculous. Because when it's all said and done, if it's them against us, it's gonna be them. And it ain't most of y'all. Your hair, you ain't blonde hair, blue eye naturally, you can count yourself out of that conversation. That's a fact. So all this racism shit, sometimes I don't be getting it, but that's the times we on. And it's a lot of things happening. It's a lot of things happening, to try to antagonize both sides, all sides. So I don't know what this country is going to look like in a year or two. I just know that moves are being made and nobody's really asking where's this going. Well, okay, so we're in the mud, right? We in the trenches. When are we expected to get out of this? How are we going to get out of it? Not how I can get out of it. How can I beat this? How can I win? How can we get out of this? Because the goal is to make America great again. But how are they making it great again? How? Where is it going? When can we see the greatness again? Right? I'm just saying, because I live in Colorado, y'all. I still see Venezuelans everywhere. So I'm confused. I go to the Walmart, it's nothing but Venezuelans. I mean, the ICE immigration can round up all they workers. So I'm not seeing, like, again, where is it going? Where's this going? That's the question people need to be asking. And I think people need to start getting real with the quality. It's not about, see, the problem is I think this election was about, unfortunately, the wrong things. People voted for the wrong reasons. Kamala ain't the answer either, but I just hope folks knew what they was doing with Trump, because he's doing what he said he was going to do. That's another thing. But it's being done in a way that benefits certain people and not all people. And I'm not talking about white people because it don't benefit what's happening right now. It ain't benefiting nobody but the people at the top. That's intentional. Things are about to start looking like some of these movies that we see with the VR and how they be trying to escape their own reality to go into the virtual reality because their reality is so freaking bad. Everything, everywhere, all the time. Remember that. We going into a different kind of reality. This is future. This is the future where everybody has nothing. You will own nothing. What do they do? What is that saying? You will own nothing and you will be happy. That's the reality we're actually really going in quickly. And I like AI. AI is my friend. I love AI. I love AI. I love the tools that's coming out. I'm telling you now, if I can afford a robot, I'm having one. Like I'm gonna enjoy this futuristic kind of life we about to move into, but it needs to be done with understanding that things can go left real quick, and understanding that money, cryptocurrency is about to rule all, and folks better hope that they invest in because folks is talking about, nah, we ain't investing. Well, you got a president that supports that shit. So I'm just saying. It's just his presidency ain't the answer. It was never the answer. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a different kind of America. It's already different. It's always changing. It's never the same. So that's my thoughts, man. I can't rush to, and I don't want to say, and I don't want y'all to think by my commentary that I'm saying he's a, not gonna do America right. I just feel like there's not enough that I've seen to say to fully put my trust in that man. What I do know is for Black people that it's time for us to learn how to stand on our own by ourselves, period. It's time for us to have our own businesses in magnitude. If you ain't in college, you need to be reading something to get you an education. Like we're at a point where Black people have to learn to become independent and not depend on nobody. That's where we're at. That's where Black people are having to, we need to be able to come to terms with that. There's so many avenues for us to make money, and it's difficult because a lot of us don't have the education. Our education comes from the experience. So we fall, we try again. We fall, we try again. That's normal life shit. But more and more Black people need to stop. Like we got to get to a point where it's almost like we're in a time period that requires us to become entrepreneurs. It's almost like history is repeating itself. So when you see when we talk about, Black Wall Street and all that, it's that time again. It's real talk that time. Because folks are becoming more and more emboldened to move in certain ways because they don't understand what's being done or what's being said. And they think that it pertains to the degradation of Black people. And so they feed off of that shit. They encourage that shit. They support that shit. So Black people have to begin to rise above it because that's the only real way at this point that we're going to be able to get ahead. That's what I take from a lot of this. Everything that I've been doing is so that I can own, period. My car, my house, whatever. Because there's a level of freedom that comes with that. I'm able to move as if my boss was my peer versus my authoritative figure, right? Because I sit where he sits. Maybe I make less money right now, but give it some, he older than me. Give it about 10 years. You think I'm gonna still be stuck in the same spot? You see what I'm saying? So owning something gives you freedom, it gives you power, it gives you leverage. And that's the time we're in. We can complain about, hey, we've been let go from our job. Black women tired of working for the white man. Like, we could complain about that. But I feel like Americans done showed they true ass during this election. When ICE and that immigration shit, and you had the Mexicans speaking out about how blacks wasn't supporting them. Motherfuckers don't support me. You know what I mean? I support people who support me. Simple and plain. I don't speak for all y'all because all y'all don't support me. So why would I be out on the front lines fighting for y'all? Were you fighting for me? Let's keep it 1,000. It's time that black people start realizing that we are somebody. This little Met Gala shit had me all the way annoyed. How you got white folks showing up to black excellence, right? Because the Met Gala was about black excellence. It was about black dandyism, right? And you got all these white people showing up like they at the Great Gatsby. This ain't the Great Gatsby. It's dandyism. It would have been nice to see these folks dress and show some respect to the culture, right? Hell, half the black people that showed up didn't even know what dandyism is either. They just showed up just to be seen. So like I say, I see there is a lot of racism happening. It's and whether people want to say it's on both sides, let me tell you, black people have never been, and this is a fact. Everything that we have as black people is because we earned, like, as black people, if you got something, that's most likely because you had to go through the trenches and the mud to get it. We've been through a lot as people by a certain group of people. So our despise, our feelings, our thoughts, our prejudices, our biases are rooted in experience. That's it. So I will say this, it's a lot of stuff happening. I just hope that I don't know, man, because people are so easily manipulated, man. All I could say is if you black and you listening, start your own. Okay. Even if it takes you a year, 2 years to really see a return, start your own business. Start your own business. Own your own business. Work for self. It's time. So that's my take on everything, y'all. With that being said, I want to wish y'all a wonderful day. I'm out. Peace.